Hello and welcome to an Assetto Corsa Competizione video, where today we shall be racing around the Kyalami Grand Prix circuit against 24 other AI in the Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo class. Something a little bit different to your usual GT3 cars here on ACC. The setup that I'm going to be using is just going to be the default aggressive preset. Not going to make any changes to it here, as it's recently been revised according to the patch notes in version 1.3.11. So hopefully the update and the issues that I kind of had with the car when trying to previously record this video before the two latest patches, the 1.3.10 and then the 0.11 version hotfix that came out as well shortly afterwards. The tyres were basically overinflated and yeah, getting too high in pressure, so hopefully things will be a little bit better here. What I am going to do is drop the traction control down to 3 and the ABS down to down to 3. Traction control down to 2, sorry, not down to 3, or contact between the AI already. This is narrow. Oh, that's a bump. Excuse me, please. Excuse me. That was tight. Squeaky bum time. Oh, car still there on my inside, but turn 1. Oh, that was quite good. Nice little start. Up a few positions already. But yeah, cold tyres, cold brakes. Need to take it relatively easy here on the opening lap until everything comes up to temperature. But yeah, the AI strength setting is set to 95%, their aggression is set to 85, and this circuit here, Kyalami, oh, what a fantastic track. I've driven it a little bit now. Before the two patches, I was trying to record this video, so obviously I was doing runs there, and I did get a recording, but because the patches came out and they made changes to this car, I basically decided to hold fire on releasing that video and instead re-record it here again now. So it's a bit more of an updated version of the talking about the handling and the physics, rather than basically releasing a video and then within the day or day after the car is, well, basically all my opinions are kind of slightly out of date to how the car actually behaves here in the sim. So yeah, I've driven Kyalami a bit now after doing the recording of the videos featuring the circuit when DLC first came out, and then obviously the runs that I did here with this video. And my oh my, what a fantastic circuit this one is to drive. Absolutely love it. And these cars are pretty damn cool as well, and pretty well represented here in ACC. They have a slightly different platform and a kind of approach to the standard GT3 car. Obviously, this being a Super Trofeo, it's part of the Super Trofeo program that Lamborghini has. It's designed for their young upcoming drivers who are working their way through the ranks of the GT career ladder, and then also likewise for Lamborghini gentlemen drivers and customer drivers as well. They can buy into the program and get themselves a race seat and race in this real world series, very much like the Porsche Carrera Cup and, well, the Porsche Cups. They are the Carreras, aren't they? Yes, they are. They are. And also the Ferrari Scuderia program as well. That works in a very similar sense. But because of that, and the way the cars are set up and designed to handle, there are some differences to their GT3 counterparts. I think the tyres are the same, if not slightly worse than the GT3 cars. They obviously produce less downforce than the GT3 car does, quite a bit less actually. They're a fair bit more draggy, these cars. And then the main difference comes from the engine. So the actual engine in the GT3 cars tends to be pegged to around about 500 brake horsepower, there or thereabouts. It entirely depends on the car. It's kind of like balance of performance, what its overall power output could possibly be, but most of the cars are detuned down to around about that 500 brake horsepower mark. I say detuned, kind of restricted to around that sort of mark. So they all, obviously, with the balance of performance, try and hit the same lap time, do slightly different ways of going about and achieving that lap time. But generally, they all tend to be in and around 500 brake horsepower, there or thereabouts. These cars, however, produce quite a bit more. I believe the figure is around 700 to 750 brake horsepower. So there is so much more power on tap, which means they're quite a bit more difficult to drive coming out the slow corners. Obviously they got ABS and traction control, but still there's a lot more power there that the drivers have to be wary of. I'm not going to go for that move down the inside here into this fast left. Instead I'm going to do the same as I've done on the previous laps and have a look down the inside there. A bit of oversteer on the exit. That's another position gained. So yeah, the whole idea of these cars is to teach the younger drivers and the gentleman drivers to be nice and smooth, don't abuse the car, and basically refine their driving technique. Which they've done a pretty good job of kind of replicating here, because this thing can be a handful if you do get very heavily aggressive on the accelerator coming out of corners, as you can see there. But it's quite manageable. It's pretty good fun to drive here as well, especially with the recent changes to the suspension and the fixes that they've made there in the recent patches. Sim's coming along very, very nicely in terms of its physics and kind of consistency. There are still a few quirks and bugs lurking around, but overall the experience is very, very good. So I imagine those who are looking to pick this up on the console platform when it releases in a couple of months' time from the current recording date, you guys will be very, very excited about what's coming here. And as you can see, the AI pretty good and pretty racy. They will fight you for the positions a little bit.
Car on the right.
Try and go around the outside here.
On the right. Car on the right. Clear on the right.
And he gives in. Just at the right moment. But yeah, they are pretty good, and do like to race you, which will probably please quite a few of you to see. I haven't really done too much racing against the AI. I've mainly just stuck to the multiplayer. But other than trying to record this video, this is the only time that I've really got the AI out and given them a run for their money. And as you can see, we've managed to make up a whole bunch of positions, but the majority of those came from the slightly messy start from the AI, which was kind of realistic to see, to be honest. I mean, that's the first time that they've done that coming out the exit of the corner in all the recording attempts. And the way it went about was quite realistic and obviously quite entertaining and intense. But yeah, there's a little bit more work that needs to be done to the setup here around Kyalami. Front tyres are absolutely spot on in terms of tyre pressure. Around the 27.7, that's 27.8 PSI mark that I generally try and aim for. But the rear tyres are 1 whole PSI higher than where I'd like them to be. So that's one thing that just needs to be changed in the setup. Go one more time round. Rear end struggling a little bit because of those overinflated tyres. Therefore the right rear is overheating slightly. Otherwise the car feels really good and really nice to drive. Probably if I pushed a little bit harder and was a little bit smoother, wasn't making all these little mistakes, be able to close up on the two AI cars up in front. But it's quite nice to see the whole kind of the dynamic gaps appearing between the cars. They're not all equally spaced out in a procession. There are individual battles going on, and have seen in the past AI over dear. Oh dear. That was me just completely overcorrecting myself there. Yeah, I have seen AI battling away with each other. And again, the rear end is cooking. Because of that, I've ruined any chance that that I had of trying to get past these guys coming here into this particular braking zone as well. A little bit deep, just overdriving the car a little bit into the corner, and then obviously forgetting about the lack of grip on the rear. Final corner one last time. Oh, caught the curb on the inside slightly, but the car's still nice and drivable. And then across the 9 to complete the race. So hopefully you enjoyed that little look at the Lamborghini Super Trofeos. If you did, give the video a thumbs up. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them down in the description below. Otherwise, please consider subscribing to the channel with the bell notification. That way you'll be notified of any future content coming up on the channel. But until the next time, have fun, stay safe, and take care.